Hello guys, we're Dave and Sue, and this is Flory, and we've been to Europe again. We had an absolutely stunning trip down to Spain. So on this video, we hope you can join us as we explain the route and the costs in detail. Hope you enjoy this one, guys. Hello everybody, it's Dave again. Sue is just about to come into the van with me, but just to let you know, we are it's the end of February and we are in the van. We're not going out, we just come over to do something with the van, but this is an introduction to our video. As you can probably hear and see, we're still in the middle of winter here in the UK. But if you don't want to be in the middle of the winter in the UK in your motorhome, you've always got the chance to go down to the sun, the winter sun in Spain, which is what we did. So this video is about our journey, our route, and me and Sue will explain exactly where we went and how much it cost us. But I've got to get off because I'm putting a new battery in Flory. More of that soon. Cheers. Okay, so we always get a bit nervous when we start a video, don't we, Susan? It's a bit weird.
Well, you'd think we'd be used to it by now.
Yeah, it's very strange anyway, but here we are again. We're Dave and Sue. I'm Dave.
And I'm Sue.
That's it. And we've got through that bit at least.
What's this one about, David?
Oh, yeah, sorry. This one is about our trip to Spain. So basically, we travelled down to Spain from the UK for the winter sun, and we did it in January. We did it the whole month of January, and this one is about the route and the costs, and I've gone into detailed costs on the fuel, the campsites that we stayed on, and also the toll roads, and also the shuttle I've put in as well. So at this point, it's just to say that we did record our trip fully on Polar Steps app. So if you go to the app, you can actually see all the stops we made and our little comments and photographs from each of the stops. So at the end, we'll total it all up and we'll show you how much it cost us. We're not putting food and drinking because
that would vary for everybody.
It's a personal thing, isn't it? So right, let's kick off.
Only to say that. Oh, is this a wrong time to say it?
What?
But Spain's particularly cheap for eating out.
Yeah, I've said that. I've got that on the list.
It's probably on our list.
Yeah, we've got a bit of paper to read through, like a script. But so basically, we travelled down on the tunnel. We booked the tunnel. We booked the tunnel early. It was fairly easy to do, but it was quite expensive. It was about 330 quid, I think, off the top of my head, £335. Again, I'll put the link, put the spreadsheet with all the costs in at the end of the video.
Was it discounted through the club?
No, it wasn't. No. That's what I was going to say. When we went in September, we went through the Caravan and Motorhome Club, and we got, I think it cost us the same price as it did in January, but obviously January crossings are going to be cheaper than they are at the end of August. So we probably saved about 10%. I can't even tell you how much. You'd probably have to go through the club if you're a member of the club to find out, but it was probably about 10%, I think, about 35 quid or something like that when we went in September. This time we didn't do it, we just went straight for it because we booked it late. So we went across on the tunnel and we went down France on the eastern route. We didn't take the long crossing, the ferry to Bilbao from Portsmouth. There was also one from Plymouth to Santander. That is a shorter crossing, but it doesn't go in the winter months. It only travels across in the summer,
from March.
March onwards, and then it finishes, I think, in November.
Yeah.
So we had no choice about that crossing, but we didn't do Portsmouth to Bilbao. We're really thinking about doing that next time when we go next time. It should probably be January again, won't it? So,
you can't book it at the moment because we tried. Yeah. It's too early. I think we have to wait until July to book it for next February time. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so we drove. So we went on the shuttle and we drove, and we took the eastern route down France. And what I'm going to do is I'll link up our Polar Steps app and the pictures I've taken from the Polar Steps app to show exactly which way we went down France. It was the quickest way, according to all the sat navs that we had, to get down to the Spanish border near Perpignan
in France. So it was the quickest way. We didn't really rush. Every day we probably planned for about 3.5 hours drive, and I had the settings wrong. The sat nav, it normally took us 4 and a bit.
Yeah, when he says that, he means you had it set for a car.
I had it
rather than a motorhome, so it always took a bit longer.
Yeah.
Than it said the arrival time would be.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the eastern route was the quickest. One of the things that surprised me, I don't know if it probably surprised you Sue as well, is when you get down sort of south of Paris, you think, oh gosh, you know, I'm in the middle of France now. It's got to be a bit warmer than it is in the UK. And no, not a bit of it. It actually gets colder as you get towards the central France, and especially down towards north of Lyon, because you suppose you're getting higher in the or near the mountains, and you're in the centre of the country. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool. We got about -4 at one point, but yeah, interesting that was.
We were just travelling though. We weren't really too worried about the weather, were we?
That's right. And then the other key thing that we decided to do was we went on the autoroutes. We used the autoroutes. Obviously, it's less costly to not take the autoroutes. But we were trying to get to Spain, you know, pretty quick. We didn't want the hassle of just using all the routes that aren't autoroute. Although you do see a lot of the real France on that. When you do that, you're travelling through towns and villages.
It's much slower. So if you had more time, we only had a month altogether.
Right. Yeah.
So we thought that we'd pay for the tolls.
That's it. Yeah. And doing that, you know, you do. My view is driving it is less tiring, you know, less stressful in a way, because on the autoroutes there's very little traffic on any of the autoroutes, except around the big towns and cities, and then you do get a little bit of traffic. But we never really got held up at all, as far as I can remember.
No,
we never got. I touched wood again, but I don't think we got held up in any traffic jams anywhere.
Not in a significant way at all.
Certainly on the way down, definitely not. You know, so
okay.
We're going to go to we go to the list. I'll have to keep picking the. But I say hopefully, as you see this video, you'll see all the film of the bits of road and stuff, and you know the countryside that we drove through.
Are you mentioning the costs? Not now, then.
I'm going to mention the costs as we go on, I think.
What about the tolls then?
Yeah, tolls are in there and all that.
Yeah, okay.
We've got all that as we go. So right, we went the eastern route. We went via Reims, spelled Reims, down via Troyes, Dijon, then Lyon, and then down to Avignon, across to Montpellier, and down to Perpignan. We crossed the border near Perpignan, and we went down then via Barcelona, down via Valencia, and down towards and near Alicante, where we stayed in our first campsite. So that was the route we took, and again I'll show you as I'm talking. I'll be throwing up pictures of the route on polar steps and stuff like that. We came back a different way because we travelled a bit further north. We travelled north of Valencia while we were in Spain. So we were starting from a place called Alcacabra, and we had to travel a little bit south to take the road, the motorway up to a place called Teruel, which was brilliant. We're going to do another video about the places we stopped and in detail analysis of where we stopped. But Teruel was a brilliant place. The weather was rubbish, it was cold, but what a place to visit. We'd love to go back there I think next year on the way down, maybe stop for 2 nights rather than 1. We then went up to Zaragoza, didn't stop, we just bypassed Zaragoza, we bypassed Pamplona, and we stopped near on the edge of the Pyrenees, fairly close to San Sebastian on the coast. But there is a tunnel called the Somport Tunnel, which we didn't even look at going through. I think it was open. Sometimes it's closed, but that's another potential route to avoid a little bit of mileage that we did over to San Sebastian. We then came up via Bordeaux, from Bordeaux up to what was it called? Poitiers.
You know not to ask me.
Yeah, Poitiers, Tours, Le Mans, and then up towards Rouen to come up to the coast at Calais. You know, so that was the way we came back. So we came back on the western route, not on the eastern route. The toll roads we talked about. Right. Okay. So let's go into details. The mileage and between Calais and Perpignan on the route we did was 1,206 kilometres, 754 miles. So that is excluding bits and pieces of mileage we did when we were going to find sites off the autoroutes. Okay, and we stopped 4 times basically on that route. So we did say it was about 3.5 hours planned per stop, but 754 miles. Then from Perpignan on the border to Alicante, where we stopped for our first campsite, that's 445 miles. So the total direct mileage, excluding all the bits and pieces off that we took to campsites, is just around 1,200 miles. So that's what you need to plan for if you're going down on that route. And as I say, we did around 70 or 80 miles off motorway to get to campsites or airs.
So a bit of additional mileage.
Yeah.
I would say though that I don't really think that was too arduous, was it?
No, it was, absolutely not.
It was fine. We didn't. Obviously, you're tired sometimes.
Yeah, I'll put the stops up. I would say it was. In fact, we got to the point where, when we got into southern France, we stopped in the Ardèche, a place called Privas, and the weather was dreadful. We almost stayed there for 2 nights because of the weather. But the journey between Privas and Remolins, in near Avignon, was only about an hour and a half. And so once we got on the road and we stopped, it was great.
Yeah, we did say we could actually increase the travelling time if we did that again and get to Spain
quicker.
Quicker. Yeah.
We're still not sure where we're going in April. We are talking about maybe Provence, but that might all change.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the other day, and if we went to Provence, I think we could do it in 3 stops.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably.
Yeah.
You know, whereas we took 4, maybe even 5 down to the Spanish border.
We're not booking anything, so that could change.
That's going to be an interesting one.
That could change, and we'll come back to that. But we're going to have some e-bikes by then as well.
That's right.
So we will be able to go cycling around these areas as well, so it'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun, actually.
Okay, sorry, I've gone off.
No, it's not a problem.
As I do.
No, that's fine. So the costs of the autoroutes down the eastern side on what we've described, that route, you don't pay tolls as soon as you get across the Spanish border. You don't pay tolls, apart from, and I'll come on to it, one motorway that we went on. That's the only time we paid a toll in Spain. But on the eastern side, down by Barcelona, Valencia, down to Alicante, there are no toll roads. They're all route, motorways, but they're not toll roads.
And that one in Spain they don't do the take a ticket thing. That you just pay.
You pay at the booth, and I'll talk about that in a minute because it was quite interesting. That plan was. I'll put it on I'll put it on in a bit anyway. Down the eastern side, the cost of the tolls was 161 euros, 136 quid roughly. That sounds a bit expensive for to get down there for 750 odd miles. We weren't on the autoroute all the time. We did come off a couple of times going south. For example, our first stop, we came off near Epinay in Champagne, and we did quite a lot of mileage off motorway. So if you kept on the motorway, it would cost you a bit more.
I use Revolut card.
Yeah.
So that's another story. I don't want to go off tangent too much, but
it saved all the fees.
We do pay for up to £1,000. You don't pay for Revolut. It's totally free.
Yeah.
We use it for everything we possibly can when we're away, and I use that for the tolls.
Yeah.
So that would have saved me on transaction fees.
Yeah, you can on the autoroutes you can get obviously a toll tag, which we haven't done in the 2 times. We might think about that actually, because obviously it's a lot easier. You can just drive up to a toll and then drive through.
You've got number plate recognition, and you don't even have to really stop. So
the average cost per mile on the tolls on the autoroutes that we went on was 19 pence per mile. So that's what we paid, 19 pence a mile. I think the northern ones seem a bit more expensive than the southern ones. Can't really be. I could go back and calculate it, but
it
just to
seemed
say,
like that, didn't it?
Yeah. Just to say, it's about 19 pence a mile. And we were charged at class 2 all the way. So there is a risk sometimes if you go through the toll booth that it recognises your height as maybe a lorry or a heavy goods vehicle. So you could get charged more obviously, if you are a heavy goods vehicle. So what we did was made sure each toll booth we were charged a Class 2, and if we weren't, then Sue would press the button and just say Class 2, and we would get the correct charge through. So that's quite an important point as well. Class 2 is a motorhome.
Always worth a try.
Yeah.
To press the button. Sometimes it's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
When you're in a hurry and they can't speak English, or you can't speak French well enough, etc. But it's worth a try. Class 2, I think they know what you mean.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then on the western route, the mileage back from Alcacabra, which is north of Valencia now, the mileage back overall was 1,623 kilometres. That's 1,014 miles. So it was roughly about 180 miles shorter than the eastern route, but that was because we'd already gone north by over 100 miles to get back to get to our third campsite. So we'd already come north a little bit anyway. The mileage on the French part, so that's from the French border near San Sebastian up to Calais, was 667 miles. So again, it's shorter by about 90 miles than the eastern route. The eastern route is shorter. That's the way we clocked it as we came down. So we did around an additional 40 miles of the auto routes getting to airs or campsites on the way up. The costs of the western route was 100. This is the auto route, and this is the French bit. 135 euros plus an online toll of €3.80. This was an online toll we had to pay in France, coming up towards Rouen, where the toll booths were closed and you drove round them. Do you remember? And then it sort of said you've got 48 hours to pay.
And there's a website.
Yes, Sanef website.
But it'd be easily missed that.
It was easily missed, but it's dead easy to pay. It's a bit like paying the Dartford crossing. Exactly the same. You drive past and you've got 48 hours then to go online and pay.
Yeah.
So that was really easy. Plus, we went from Zaragoza to Pamplona on an auto route or a paid motorway in Spain. Hello guys. So we're on the E something or other, which is a toll road. We didn't realise. It's a toll road. We've taken a ticket in northern Spain. The road you can see here with lots of lorries and stuff on, that's the A road. It all seems to be going to exactly the same place, and they're just not paying a toll. But the road surface was real rubbish, and it was a 90 km/h speed limit too. So it's interesting, really. But they're going in exactly the same place on exactly the same route. Yes. Never seen it before anywhere. It's bizarre. And that cost us €12. And it was weird because you sort of the sat nav took us that way, but there was a road as you drove along the auto route. You could see this road to your right, which was the A road, which was really busy, and the road surface was dreadful because we went on it a little bit. But as soon as you got onto the auto route, it was perfect, and you could bomb to €12.
I don't know if it was dreadful.
Yeah. Don't you remember? There was loads of lorries, and it was dual carriageway.
You mean dreadful because of the traffic? I thought
before we got on that auto route,
but not the actual road surface.
Yeah.
Was it? I can't.
Yeah, even that road surface wasn't as good as the one on the motorway.
Because they're usually pretty good.
They are, yeah.
Generally, aren't they?
It was like it was so well used because people weren't using that bit of the motorway.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But
but that was
you were driving.
That was about €12. That was quite a long way for €12, but I haven't calculated the cost per mile on that.
Yeah.
So the overall cost for that western journey was £128. The rough calculation of that is about 18p a mile. It could be a penny out either way, so 19p a mile or 18p a mile.
So
that's what we were paying.
Save yourself quite a bit by not going on the toll.
We spent £128 and £136. So what's that? 260 something quid. 260 odd quid on the auto routes tolls. That's what we paid.
Yeah, I think that's quite a lot. But if we had longer, which we might take a bit longer doing it next time. Might try and cut some of that out. I don't know.
See, if you go on the long ferry, then you don't pay any of that.
No,
that's what you save.
No.
Well, you save the French part of it anyway.
Yeah. Which is the main part.
Yeah. So we hope you're not. We hope you're keeping with us, guys. We're just going to talk through.
I'm not sure I am doing
it. Yeah, you are.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah. What we're going to say the benefits was. we drove through some fantastic regions in France. So if you're going slow, not like we were just trying to bomb south as quick as possible. You go through the Champagne region, which Sue loved.
Yeah.
What a place that is.
Would have liked to have stayed.
Yeah.
That's what you feel when you stop. You just feel you're missing so much.
Yeah. We would if we did it again, we might stop for 2 days at each site.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, but we're gonna in April. It's all to play for, isn't it? We can do whatever
but we
we
were
want.
only going for a few weeks then. I think for people who are going for like 3 months, they can really take their time.
Yeah.
And I'd recommend that you do, to be honest.
Champagne region. We went through Burgundy. We went through the Auvergne, we went through the Ardèche, and part of Provence as we got down to Avignon, that area, Orange and all that. So yeah, we really went through some fantastic areas in France. The toughest parts of the whole drive south were around Lyon, which was a bit scary. You have to go through the city centre.
That's right.
There is a bypass route of going through the city centre, but it's called the Périphérique. Anybody who's been on the Périphérique in Paris knows how absolutely awful that is. So that would have been a way around it in Lyon.
Yeah, in a motorhome, I wouldn't fancy.
Yeah, I don't even know if you have to. I don't even know about the eco stuff around that either, the Critère stuff. So yeah. Anyway, that was what we did right through, past Barcelona, and Barcelona. There was it was hard, and there was an accident on the way, right in front of us almost. One of those 2 lorries.
There's something in the road. It actually was a crash, so unfortunately. That looks like it's just happened. That's why we all had to brake. We thought it was just the 2 roads joining. Yeah, and there's fuel leak in there. Yeah. Really dangerous. Oh dear.
Lots of different roads coming in from different places.
You could understand how easy it was to.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was hurt or anything, but it's vehicles were quite damaged.
Yeah, and then we went around Valencia, which was okay, but with all the horrible stuff they incurred last year, they were doing lots of repairs to the roads, to the motorways around, and the bridges around.
You couldn't believe it, could you? Really, you couldn't believe that there would be flooding in the parts that you saw where there was obviously being flooding.
We went on Y01 bridge, and I remember seeing the pictures where the water was up to the gantries on the motorway.
Yeah, and you just couldn't picture that when you're driving through it.
No, horrible.
It must have been absolutely awful.
Yeah. So those were the toughest bits of the drive, getting down there. On the way, it was. I mentioned it was cold. So a lot colder than the western route because it's just the climate really on the east. Until we got to Avignon, and then everything changes. The whole, it's weird, isn't it? You get down and you're in rain and cold, and then suddenly all the vegetation changes from sort of like green to more of a brown colour. And then you're into the south of France, and when you get down via past Valencia, it almost gets into like a desert. It looks like a bit more like a desert rather than any greenery. So that was really interesting. Do not forget that in some departments in Spain they do require snow chains, or snow tyres, and they can stop you and make you put them on if the weather is bad. So we carry snow chains. We bought them for about 130 quid for the van. You mustn't forget to get those because you can get stopped and they won't let you carry on without them. No. Yeah. One thing to say about this is even in Spain, the weather can turn quickly. We drove through a dreadful storm on the way north of Valencia to our 3rd stop. You get in Spain, you go past the Costa Brava, and then you get past Valencia onto the Costa Blanca, where we stopped for 3 weeks. So that's the route we took on the east. Away back, you come through central Spain. You come through the mountains up to the Western Pyrenees, and then through the French regions. You go through Bordeaux, the Dordogne. The Dordogne River. Wow, how cool! Beautiful. You love the Dordogne, don't you, Bodge? The Loire, and Normandy, and we crossed all those rivers, didn't we? We crossed on the way back the Garonne. I mean, so many big rivers. We went on the eastern side. We went down the Rhone, we crossed the Meuse. We crossed the Garonne on the way back. The Dordogne, the Loire, the Seine. All these, it's fantastic. You know, you come across the bridges, and it's really impressive.
They're very big, very wide rivers.
Incredible. So that was really cool. The central mountains around Spain on the way back are very cold.
Yeah, because obviously you're up rather high.
We were up at 1,200 metres. I think 1,200. Teruel was 1,200 metres.
You knew you were in the mountains. So it was quite windy as well, but we got the suspension, so all was fine. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Fuel costs. We spent 795 quid on fuel in total. That was 3,016 miles. 26 pence a mile, which I think was pretty good, and I think that's the overall. That's including
for the whole trip.
Yeah, that's France and Spain. In France, the cost of fuel per litre, we paid a maximum of 195 on a motorway, and off the motorway it was down about 165. So roughly £1.42 if you do the exchange rate. So it's about the same as here, really. Maybe slightly cheaper. You get to Spain, the maximum on the motorway we paid was 185, and then a minimum of 139 off. So that's £1.59 on the motorway and £1.20 off. I mean, £1.20 for fuel in Spain. It's
so make sure you fill up over the border or before going back if you can, because that's what we did.
It was amazing. Everything in Spain was so cheap, and we're just going to talk about that quickly. I've put, now Sue could disagree with me, but I've put that France, the food was a little bit more expensive than it is here. Apart from the wine, which is dramatically cheaper. You can get so many cheap bottles of wine, and they're good quality as well.
That won't surprise anyone, will it?
No, but they're good quality too, aren't they? But the food, I thought was a little bit more expensive in the supermarkets, maybe. No, about the
sort
same.
of similar. Maybe it's difficult to say. I'd have to make direct comparisons. Look into that in a bit more detail. Not too much different, I don't think. No. But in Spain it's crazy.
It is crazy. Food and drink dramatically cheaper than it is here. I mean, we're talking up to 40-50% of the cost of everything in Britain.
Eating out is so much cheaper.
It's amazing.
Even having a couple of coffees and pastry.
Hi guys. Hello guys. So we basically just had an Americano, a cappuccino, and 2 lovely chocolate iced buns.
Little pastries,
little pastries actually, and €6.90. Well, if we had that, say at Costa in the UK, that would cost you 13 quid, I would imagine.
We keep saying this, but we can't believe it.
Just can't believe how brilliant the pricing is here. So I mean, Sue's cappuccino was $3.30.
Yeah, that was quite.
The Americano was $1.70, and the little iced croissant things were 95 cents. Wow, how cool.
Can you imagine having that here?
That's probably a third of what you pay in the UK. Maybe almost up to a third.
Yeah, it really is very noticeable. It's amazing.
Yeah. So Spain is really perfect for everything, really. Warmth.
Absolutely in love with it, aren't we?
Yeah. Just the culture, the people, the people, the friendliness, the madness of everywhere.
There is a bit.
The
are a few things that are a bit surprising.
The festivals are just mad as hatters. They are mad as hatters, but they're
you shouldn't say that.
No, but they're so wonderful. They're just so wonderful,
In a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
And he must be about 7 at the most. So what he's doing, I've no idea what they are. He's sort of setting it, whatever it is, running away, and it makes a loud noise, and it's entertaining him, and no one else is bothered. So I'm not bothered because no one else is bothered. It's going to go again any moment.
So that's about the end of the video, and as I say, hopefully all the stuff we've put up you
didn't mention campsite costs.
Sorry, I didn't mention campsite costs, and I did have that. That's annoyed because I thought I did have that.
So you'll need to put that up on screen or at the end.
Yeah, I can do actually. I do know that we spent roughly about 12 euros average on the camping car parks that we used coming south and going north. We spent nothing on a free area in Spain. No. 2 free areas in Spain. One of them we paid for electric, but the other one was completely free. We didn't have electric, so it was completely free. The campsites, it's off the top of my head now, but I will put it up at the end. The campsites, Alania Costa Blanca, cost us £158.
For 7 nights.
For 7 nights.
Yeah.
And the electricity, I think, Sue will correct me, was €40.
Around €40, yeah.
So £188 plus €40.
Yeah.
Benicassim, which was, we'll go on to next videos about where we stopped and favourite sites. Benicassim was Sue's favourite site, probably was mine as well. That cost us, that was more expensive than Alania.
Yeah.
It cost us £188. And I think it was less on the electric, about £32, something like that. So that was
€32, I think.
€32, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And the final campsite we stayed for 3 nights cost us £88. Those 3 sites were booked through the Caravan and Motorhome Club. We've got no idea about the discounts.
Third one included electric, didn't it?
Included electric.
Yeah.
Well done, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. £88, including electric. So overall, whether we got big discounts through Caravan and Motorhome Club, I'm not quite sure.
We did book. No, we booked through them, but another story, but Alania had a rally going on.
Yeah.
And when I went to pay the electric, we obviously got a discount because we went through the club. But if you'd been on the rally, apparently,
the Caravan and Motorhome Club rally, yeah,
Caravan and Motorhome rally, you get a really big discount. But I don't think we probably wouldn't want to do that. No. I don't think, because it means staying for longer in one place.
Yeah.
So I would restrict us a bit.
Yeah,
I believe that's how it works.
We'll talk more about campsites and stuff in the next video. But we did book all 3 of those in advance. We didn't need to book Alania. There was space on it in January.
Yeah, lots of space.
We probably didn't need to have to book the last campsite, which was wonderful. There was a few spaces there, but it wasn't apparent. They might have fitted you on. Benicassim.
100%,
no chance.
You need to book.
Absolutely no chance.
In fact, we're trying to look at that now.
We're trying to book again, aren't we? So
yes.
Oh yeah.
Because the bookings are only just opening
for next year.
Yeah. And they have quite a few people that stay there for 3 months in winter, which makes it. They probably let them book ahead earlier, I believe, because of the commitment that they give.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for us that's going to stay maybe a week or something.
Yeah,
then we'll have to get in quickly. Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in more detail on the next one. So the next one's going to be next Saturday, and we're going to be talking about all the places we stayed, exactly how much it cost, what we thought about them, our favourite sites, and that will include the Benicassim, the Alania, all the Spanish ones.
It's very close actually between some of the sites anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that.
So here's the final summary, guys. The shuttle return cost $335, the toll costs $264, fuel was $795, and the campsites $617. That included the camping car park cost. So the total trip costs, excluding any food and drink, was £2,011. And we looked at it as if you weren't going to pay for any of the tolls and you were going to go off grid all the way, that would cost you £1,130 on the route we did. And that total excludes any data communication costs like data SIMs. So I hope this video and information has proved useful to you guys. It was a wonderful trip. We would do it again in an instant. Okay. So I hope you enjoy that one. We've got a lot of stuff coming up for ourselves personally. We have a big trip coming up in the middle of April. We're going back to Europe. It's all happening. It's been, feet have only just touched the ground, and they're probably not going to touch the ground now for another 6 months. So it's been a quite, and we've got a review to do, our first ever review.
Yes,
that'll be coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
we've never done a review.
We've turned a lot down and never been sure whether to do it, but this is something that we want anyway, and we'll it just makes sense, doesn't it? So we're going to that later. Yeah, but that'll be coming up in the next in the next month sometime. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting, everybody, because we doing the analysis. It was quite
quite interested in how much we spent and how much we didn't have to spend if we didn't want to.
Yeah.
But overall, we would have used I would do it again, and I will use the auto routes again because I know what the driving was like.
It does save you so much time. So if you want to get to Spain,
and it's not just the time; it's the ease of driving. You know, you're not going through villages and towns because France is.
You're blathering.
I'm sorry,
yeah, but also I was going to say we probably go by ferry next time anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
And take that chance on that.
Yeah.
Ferry.
I think for the driving, it was. It's like. It's the literally sitting on a. There's nothing on these roads. Nothing. The water roads, is there?
Not much.
You know,
not much.
So you literally can get.
When January anyway.
No, when you get off, obviously you've got bits and pieces, and you've got to go through little villages, and you don't know where you are, and blah blah. So yeah,
traffic might be worse in summer months, I suppose.
True. Yeah. So I'd go auto route every day, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personal choice. Anyway, I'll stop blathering like Sue says.
I think it's best. Okay.
Thank you.
See you on the next one.
See you next one, guys.
Bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. And if you like the video, then hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And we will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.